Bill secretly breaks Liam out of the hospital and goes against the law to save his son. Bill's explosive betrayal and Hope's stunning breakdown. Bold and the beautiful 2-week spoilers for July 14th to 25th, 2025 indicate Bill Spencer is going rogue and Hope Logan is going to completely blow out. The bold and the beautiful spoilers. Bill's controversial actions and Luna's death aftermath. On Monday, July 14th, Bill is really struggling as we go into this week because everybody is so upset at him. They blame him, understandably, for Luna Nozoa shooting Liam Spencer and trying to assassinate Steffi Forrester. I don't think people care that much that Luna shot Sheila Carter's toe off. But Finn feels bad too. But I'm sure Steffi is going to support and soothe Finn and convince him none of this is his fault. Poppy Nozawa is disliked just about as much as Bill is right now because they're both responsible for Luna creating havoc and again deservedly so. Finn, Deacon Sharp, and Sheila meanwhile are mourning Luna. She was nasty, yet she was still family to Finn and Sheila and Lee Finnegan. Meanwhile, Poppy is not in grief. She seems ready to pop some champagne. Deacon despised Luna, but he does feel awful for his wifey Sheila, who is pretty sad. In addition to losing another toe, she lost a grandkid. Bold and the beautiful 2-week spoilers July 14th to 25th. Bill goes rogue and Hope flips soap dirt. The bold and the beautiful spoilers. Liam's surgery, Bill's impatience and Grace's dilemma. Tuesday, July 15th, Steffi and Hope are up at the hospital waiting to hear how Liam Spencer is doing. Their baby daddy is back in surgery this week. And I wonder if they're going to keep yelling at Bill or just avoid him. Meanwhile, speaking about Liam's dad, Dollar Bill, he is exceedingly impatient as he waits for Grace Buckingham to complete surgery on Liam. This might be for the brain tumor for the cancer, or a follow-up if he had complications from the operation that Finn had on him the prior week. Obviously, Bill's filled with guilt. He's worried Liam won't make it. Grace may be the one to tell Bill about Liam's incurable tumor. And by the way, I've seen some clickbait garbage online about Grace lying about Liam's tumor and basically pretending that it's inoperable due of her personal concerns. No, she is not lying. I'll talk to you more about that in the second week spoilers. Finn saw the scan. So did Bridget Forrester. And a complete neurological team. So, be careful what you click on. Liam's resilience, Brooke and Nick's romance, and a game-changing Italy trip. Wednesday, July 16th. Finn and Bridget are immensely thrilled by Liam's resilience, and they see that he's got this battling spirit. It appears like he might still be in the coma at this point, but he's, hanging in there with this incurable brain tumor with the cancer, and now he has survived a horrendous gunshot wound to the chest. Plus, although Grace was pressing him on starting treatment, Liam never did it because of quality of life reasons. But it looks like the decision-making is going to be out of his hands shortly because he's not awake following the surgery. Whether it's an induced coma, whether it's simply in a natural coma that arose as a result of what's going on in his brain and in his body remains to be seen. Thursday, July 17th, with Luna allegedly dead. Brooke Logan and Nick Marone's relationship reboot takes off. And that's going to be front and center for the next few weeks before Jack Wagner goes. He had to go back to shoot When Calls the Heart, but he did a small, little arc of episodes to air over the following few weeks. Brooke and Nick are likely to get considerably closer before the Italy trip. You can guarantee Ridge Forrester will not enjoy Nick sneaking around and romancing Brooke. Taylor Hayes may consider Nick being around as a good thing, but if Ridge is super focused on Nick, that may rub Taylor the wrong way. And of course, there's a game-changing event that takes place in Italy that leads to heartbreak for one woman, specifically Taylor. Spoiler alert per Brad Bell. Bill's rogue move, taking Liam for experimental treatment on the bold and the beautiful spoilers. So, Bill grabs Liam and takes his son from the hospital while he's still asleep. So, Grace does this procedure. Liam comes out of it. And I imagine as soon as he's stable, Bill runs off with his kid. He's the next of kin. If Liam can't speak out for himself, that leaves Bill in charge. And it looks like Steffi and Hope may be taken by surprise by this. Just absolute shock. I saw a photo I can't show you for copyright reasons. But Steffi and Hope are at Liam's hospital bed and it's empty and they look upset. Now granted, this could have been some kind of weird behind-the-scenes thing where they just had a pillow laying there while they were shooting the women. Without the context, but it definitely looks like Bill goes rogue and takes Liam and doesn't really check in with anybody before he does it. Bold and the Beautiful. Bill Spencer, Hope Logan. Bold and the Beautiful. Bill Spencer, Hope Logan. Forrester Creations, Taylor's Triumph. And the week of July 21st, Friday, July 18th. Steffi is going to be back to work at Forrester Creations this week, but she's really nervous. I'm sure she's going to struggle to focus on work, but needs the distraction. Once Bill takes Liam and goes off, she's plainly frightened about him. Taylor and Donna Logan had a chat this week at the Forrester mansion. And, she may be spiteful and tell Taylor the engagement won't last because Ridge belongs with Brooke. If Taylor brings up Nick, I can't wait to see Donna's reaction to that. Meanwhile, Brooke, Taylor, and Ridge agree they need to be there for Steffi and Hope, who are heartbroken by Leah being shot, his disease, and Bill assuming charge of the situation. They may worry that Liam will die when they can't be there at his side. We'll find out soon enough whether they're being kept away. How much info they're getting. I do wonder if Taylor and Brooke can genuinely play nice when Taylor is feeling triumphant and Brooke still wants her man. Hopefully Nick's also going to be involved in this, since he was so close to Hope when she was growing up and he was with her mom the week of July 21st through the 25th. Experimental treatment, Italy trip, and Luna's potential return. So Bill has taken Liam Spencer out of the hospital and arranged to get him some cutting-edge cancer therapy at a private clinic. But one of the regular doctors from the hospital is going to be involved. Even if his son was turning down those cancer treatments, as long as Bill is allowed to make judgments while Liam's asleep, Bill's going to do what he feels is right, and that will save Liam's life. Dr. Grace Buckingham and a new doctor that we're going to meet at the private clinic begin some sort of experimental cancer treatment on Liam. But I wonder if Bill would consult with anyone else, update anybody, or just take entire charge and walk away since he's so irritated that everybody was crapping on him over Luna. So, it won't be too long till Liam wakes up from the coma, though. He's not going to stay in there over long. He may be under Grace's care at the private facility when Liam comes out of the coma, but he's clearly not out of the woods yet. Brooke, Taylor, and Ridge continue to try and put their drama behind for now. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers. Italy trip info ahead. While Steffi and Hope are going to be depending on each other, of course. They're frustrated that Bill is doing what he believes is best for Liam, but may not be what they think is best for Liam as his two exes. Maybe they think two ex-wives surpass a dad. I don't know. Finn and Sheila Carter are still in shock after Luna's death and Poppy's apathy. Finn may try and gather info from Grace to reassure Steffi. Of course, Hope will be asking if they can obtain any updates. Nick's busy attempting to capture Brooke's heart. We're going to see groundwork and explanations laid out for the impending trip to Italy for the Forrester team. Ridge, Brooke, and Nick are all on the list. And I believe I also noticed Steffi on the list for the trip. We'll see. I hadn't seen her in any of the behind-the-scenes things. But then some other information showed her. And of course, Jacqui Wood is about to pop with that baby. They've got her behind a desk in week 1 and 2. Daff is moving back to LA soon. Her return and Liam's cancer recovery may complicate things for Hope's engagement to Carter Walton. I wonder if someone's going to tell Remy Price that Luna died. And of course, back to I absolutely believe that Lee lied and Luna's alive. But if they are rehashing the same plot they did with Finn and his not-so-fatal death, it could be September before we hear confirmation that Luna is alive. We do know for definite that she is going to appear in an early September episode and maybe more beyond that. As Finn and Sheila negotiate this unknown realm of shared loss, the broader question looms. Could Luna's death be the catalyst that finally brings them together? Steffi Forrester watches from the sidelines, her own thoughts muddled by Sheila's previous bravery in trying to save her from Luna's attack. The lady she's loathed for so long lost a toe trying to protect her. How does anyone process that? The writers have built a situation where there are no easy answers. Finn can't simply forgive and erase years of trauma, but he also can't deny that the lady standing before him, shattered by grief, is his mother, and she's the only other person who genuinely understands what he's experiencing right now. Deacon's calm support might be the key. He's walked his own redemption route and knows that sometimes tragedy opens doors we never expected. As he hugs Sheila through her sobs, he offers hope that people really can change, that families can heal, even after the worst imaginable circumstances. A family forever changed. The ripple consequences of Luna's death spread well beyond the hospital walls. Lee Finnegan absorbs her own loss while allegations circulate about her suspected complicity in faking Luna's death. Poppy Nozawa's surprising admission that she's glad her daughter is gone has created a fresh split that may bring Finn even closer to Sheila. When your child's own mother celebrates their death, where else do you turn but to the grandma who sincerely mourns? This tragedy has reshuffled the deck in ways no one saw coming. Enemies might become allies. Long-standing grudges might ultimately disintegrate. And in the middle of terrible grief, a broken family could just find a way to bring itself back together. Will Finn allow Sheila to soothe him? Can shared grief do what years of apologies couldn't? As The Bold and the Beautiful examines these important topics, one thing becomes very clear. Luna Nozowa's death, as awful as it is, might well be the beginning of something unexpected. Sometimes it takes losing someone to find your way back to the family you never dreamed you'd have. Is Poppy really that cold and uncaring? Is she really that cold of a mother? That's what a lot of The Bold and the Beautiful fans can't help but question when it comes to Poppy. Keep reading below for everything you need to know. Is Poppy really that cold and uncaring? During the most recent episode of BNB, Lee had to share the devastating news to Poppy that her daughter Luna had died from her gunshot wound. As many fans already know, Luna and Liam battled with the gun that shot Liam before he turned the handgun around and shot her. With everyone in the hospital room with her, Poppy looked both cold and heartless when her only answer to her daughter being dead was good. In fact, Lee, Finn, Steffi, and Hope were all surprised by Poppy's cold-hearted reply. Of course, the internet surely did have a lot to say about the topic. Some admirers and critics alike even replied with, "She appears to be cold and uncaring, but I like to think she believes her daughter is at peace and is no longer suffering mentally or emotionally." Is Luna really dead? Another critic of the show wrote, "It's ridiculous to think Luna is redeemable after murdering 2 people, kidnapping 2 people, holding Steffi in a cage and attempting to murder her, shooting her grandmother, shooting Liam and threatening Steffi with a gun, and holding multiple people at gunpoint. Poppy isn't a good person either, and she's only said what everyone was thinking." And then there was this comment as well. "If I were Luna's mother, I would be glad she was gone. She killed 2 innocent guys and nearly killed another one. A psychopath as Luna is never deserving of anyone's trust. The usual tale that my childhood was bad should never explain cold, brutal murder." And there you have it, guys. The Bold and the Beautiful airs weekdays on the CBS network. Check your local listings for times. In the meantime, let us know what you think by sending us a message with your opinions in our comments area below. Hope dumps fiancé after shocking Carter / Daphne truth. The Bold and the Beautiful teasers and updates indicate that Hope Logan and Carter Walton might be going towards a split rather than a fairy tale ending. Even while Carter is determined to make things right this time and fulfill his vow of becoming a nice guy, he could still wind up losing hope. Secrets have a way of coming out exactly when you don't want or expect. Deacon Sharp appears to be apprehensive about Hope potentially enduring heartbreak, although he is making an effort to fulfill his daughter's wishes. This is the reason Deacon recently had a talk with Carter and effectively offered his blessing for the engagement. Naturally, Deacon reiterated that Carter must not mess things up, but secrets have a habit of popping out exactly when you don't want or expect them to, and Daphne might have a secret. Sadly, it looks like that's precisely what Carter is on course to accomplish if Daphne Rose returns to town. Fans of B&B know that Steffi Forrester is eager for Daphne to come to Los Angeles to assist with the launch of her new fragrance. Daphne's return could spell disaster for Carter and Hope's engagement. Despite Daphne's refusal of Steffi's request, it's likely she might alter her choice shortly. There's no question that Hope and Carter have profited from Daphne's absence. However, if Daphne returns, it could signal difficulties for Carter and Hope's wedding preparations, particularly if she has been covertly involved with Carter. After Carter overheard Hope and incorrectly understood her connection with Liam Spencer, he found comfort in Daphne's companionship. It's conceivable that Carter and Daphne had an off-screen encounter before he got back together with Hope. Daphne's dirty little secret. If that's the circumstance, Daphne might return to LA with a bombshell secret that could interrupt Hope and Carter's newest adventure together. Should Daphne be expecting a kid, it would add another element of anxiety. In any event, Hope will not be thrilled if Carter has been keeping this romance with Daphne from her. Although Carter and Hope were on a break at that period, it won't justify his lack of honesty in her perspective. Ultimately, Daphne's reappearance could impede the progress of Carter and Hope's wedding arrangements. Hope might decide to cancel the engagement, pushing Carter to confront a future without her. The bold and the beautiful spoilers suggest that some surprising news about Daphne could result in Hope and Carter's eventual separation. So we will keep you informed about any upcoming romantic disasters, in a move only the mighty dollar bill Spencer could dream up, let alone execute. Los Angeles became the stage for a staggering betrayal of medical protocol, parental desperation, and the burning fire of guilt that only a father on the edge could bear. For weeks, Liam Spencer had teetered on the border of life and death in a sterile hospital bed, his body immobile, his mind imprisoned in a comatose zone no one could access. After surviving Luna Nozoa's horrific shooting rampage, a catastrophe that had already claimed some lives and left others forever altered, Liam's future was meant to rest in the hands of expert care. But Bill Spencer had other ideas. When Dr. Grace Buckingham verified what Hope Logan had feared all along, that Liam had a huge inoperable brain tumor rendering every new surgery a pointless exercise, Bill didn't only lose trust in the system. He lost trust in Hope itself. The whispers of a terminal prognosis crept through the hospital hallways like a phantom, infiltrating every conversation, every prayer, every anguished glance from Hope, Steffi, and even Deacon Sharp, who watched with heavy shoulders while Liam's monitors beeped a constant lullaby. And yet, it wasn't grief that engulfed Bill, it was wrath. Fury at himself for not defending Liam. Fury at the physicians for doing enough instead of everything. Fury at the universe for even daring to toy with the life of his son. And so, with the icy precision of a CEO orchestrating a hostile takeover, Bill made a choice that would alter the direction of the Spencer family, and maybe Liam's fate forever. Bill didn't merely sneak out of the hospital. He coordinated a secret operation, aided by hired insiders, fake security badges, and a costume that included hospital scrubs, a surgical mask, and gloves to obscure his identity. When the night shift changed and alarms quieted, Bill took his unconscious kid through the underbelly of the hospital like a ghost in the night, past janitors who'd been paid off, past cameras with corrupted film, and into a waiting black SUV with a custom-fitted mobile ICU unit inside. The destination? A covert high-tech institution set in the remote cliffs of Monterey, controlled by an international neurosurgeon formerly exiled from orthodox medicine for experimenting with nanotech-based regenerative brain therapy. To Bill, the man wasn't a liability, he was Liam's final hope. With every mile driven away from LA, Bill realized he was destroying bridges. The media would explode once the story leaked. Doctors would call it irresponsible, unlawful. Ridge Forrester and Taylor Hayes would threaten lawsuits. Brooke Logan would be caught between fury and admiration. But none of it mattered. Not when Liam was dying. Not when the man who shot Sheila Carter in defense of Steffi, who had suffered for years between the women he loved, now had days, maybe hours left. This wasn't about reputation. This was about resurrection. Back in the hospital, the aftermath was nothing short of chaos. Grace Buckingham reported Liam missing minutes after noticing an empty bed and broken floor tubing. Steffi Forrester, already barely keeping it together after Luna's violent binge and her own near-death experience, burst with wrath. "He was safe here," she screamed at the medical board. But it was Hope Logan's reaction that shook the room. Quiet, trembling disbelief followed by a howl that seemed to rock the building's foundation. "He was right here. I was simply sitting with him." She collapsed into Brooke's arms, unaware that her fiancé's fate was now in the hands of a man operating far outside the law. Ridge phoned the police. Taylor offered psychological insight, but nothing could explain the purpose behind a parent willing to go rogue to save a son whose diagnosis was branded terminal. Or so they believed. And while the hospital board searched for explanations and Bill Spencer's name flashed over every news channel from Los Angeles to New York, the man himself remained locked away in a gated compound, looking over Liam like a lion defending his cub. The therapies were experimental, painful, risky, but Bill didn't flinch. "He's got a daughter," he reminded the doctor. "A little girl who still needs her dad. You do whatever it takes." Back in Los Angeles, the aftermath tore through the family like an earthquake. Wyatt Spencer sought to keep the journalists at bay, while Steffi and Hope battled over blame. Hope maintained that Bill had a right to know everything. Steffi chastised her of trusting Bill with too much. Even Sheila Carter weighed in from her own corner of sadness, having just buried her granddaughter Luna and barely survived herself. "You think I'm the danger?" she hissed at Ridge when he confronted her in the hospital cafeteria. Bill Spencer just kidnapped his own son, but not everyone saw Bill's actions as wicked. Brooke Logan, plagued by memories of nearly losing hope as a baby, understood. "He's not trying to hurt Liam. He's trying to save him," she told Ridge softly, though her voice trembled with dread. Meanwhile,